Okay, second part of the video for Thursday, the 20th of October. As we have seen, it was a very, very boring morning. Everybody was waiting for the news at 1:30. I'd like to start with the US dollar, Dow Jones, because the morning was an exercise of patience. And actually, we use quite a lot of patience especially this month, actually. And especially in the morning, so it wasn't too bad. This was a filter trade basically because we were dealing in the morning, early in the morning, London Open, with the DAX, so that was a correlated thing. But the afternoon, we really had to deal with a decent amount of frustration, and I will explain why in a second. Well, first of all, we start trading again at about 1 o'clock, so that was a good scalp in a way, but we couldn't take it. But this was brilliant. This was a great breakout, as you can see. But look at the time. 12:15 here means 13:15, so it's just 15 minutes before Draghi speech, the ECB press conference, the unemployment claim, the Philly Fed manufacturing index. So we definitely couldn't take that. The market went down, and then here we couldn't take it either because that was the New York Open. The actual news. This was particularly good because, we wait for the first 5 minutes on the news and see if there is some sort of continuation or settling and so on. Usually we wait a little bit longer, but in this case, in some cases, actually, we can try to jump in. The problem is that we couldn't because we would have jumped in at 18,105, which was too close to the big round number. Now, big round number may be a little bit less important when you actually are dealing with news and that sort of stuff, but still, our rules prevent us from trading too close to big round numbers. By the time the big round number is cleared, well, we would have been here, and in any case, Draghi was speaking, so we need to leave something like 20-25 minutes when somebody of that caliber is speaking on a press conference. There's going to be quite a lot of questions and so on, and anything could happen. And the second reason is that really there was already a pretty big drop of 50-60 points, so we would have entered too late. As you can see here, there was a bounce. So that was quite unfortunate. The other thing is that we can't trade here because this is the New York Open, and New York Open is treated, as you remember, as news from us, and so we couldn't trade. I actually waited for this to pass. This was the 1335 because there was no real decision on this bar here, candle here. And then there was a decisive from here to here to here. There was a decisive rally, and I decided to take it. I took this one, and the stop would have been just below this level here, which is the daily pivot, which is an important one. It was a little bit hairy because the market retraced immediately, and I was quite sure that I entered too aggressively, too close to the New York Open. But then the market went up, and I actually got my target at this high here, and this is pretty much what the market could give me. And then it was this big retracement. Now, this is a big retracement, and these kind of systems that are based on any sort of incarnation of moving averages, mine is on slope of moving averages, they're really too slow to cope with a swing. I don't know how many systems can cope with a system that swings, 43, 100 point in 10 minutes. But there it is, and you can see actually that the whole thing was collapsing, and it would have been very tempting. And that was actually would have been a very advanced trade to just forget about the signal, because the signal would have happened at the end of this bar, and just go for it, jumping in. It is a very risky proposition, and I don't suggest anybody to do that unless you are absolutely sure of what you're doing. But still, after all this frustration, this was really bad news for us. Still, we had a pretty good points there. Similar situation for the DAX. Nothing happened in the morning. There was a gap that could have been played, but you see that they closed the gap on the very first bar of the London Open, and so this had to be filtered because the gap was already closed anyway, and the market actually did this and then retraced. Now, same thing as before with the Dow Jones. Very nice signals and very nice possible trades, but we couldn't do it because it was 130. And after 130 was Draghi speaking, so we couldn't enter this one, and blah blah blah, as we discussed before. Then you had this big swing here. This was quite good, and this was quite good. But again, look at the time. This is New York Open, so we couldn't really do anything on this. I just highlighted this square here, this rectangle here, because this was something of an advanced trade that you might consider. You had the signal here. The breakout was here, but you couldn't take it because it was 130. You could have taken this one, but 135 is still very close to New York Open, and really this was a little bit of a mess, and the high here was testing this resistance here, so I just wanted to wait a little bit longer and see if there was a retracement. Actually there wasn't, and the market went up again, so this would have been a good place to get in, but unfortunately you could have got in at 75, 76, and here you have the R1, this level R1 at 82. That's not a high probability trade, because you, as you can see, actually the market stopped there. You have too little space. Okay. However, if you remember, here we entered because we didn't have any particular obstacle. In this case we did, but there on Dow Jones we didn't. So we entered here, and by this time we were already quite high up in profits with the YM. So I was quite happy to enter at almost 2 o'clock on this breakout. This is a breakout of this high after a doji, and a breakout of the R1 on a market that was following the US dollar indices. So I was quite sure that this would have been a high probability trade. And that's exactly what I did, with targets up here at R2. But this was a very advanced trade, actually. So for those of you who are new, well, this is just something to aspire to, but it's very difficult to read these things, especially in the mayhem that we had today with all this news. But that was really the very good outcome of this. Basically, I was doubling my position on equities, and when equities were going up, but not doubling the risk because YM was already in profit. Okay, so a very good day.